Okay, let's forget all the headlines about super intelligent robots for a minute. The real AI revolution. It isn't happening in some secret lab. It's happening right now in our schools, at our desks, and in our homes. Today, we're going to dig into the human side of AI. Who's actually using this stuff? And what does it tell us about where we're all headed?
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the generational divide, then we'll look at this kind of quiet revolution happening in the workplace. From there, we'll zoom way out to see the global picture, dig into how people feel about all this, and finally, ask that big question, what on earth happens next?
All right, first up, the generational divide. You might think you know how this story goes, but the reality of who's using AI and, more importantly, why, is way more interesting than you'd expect.
So, let's just get right to it. If you had to put money on it, which generation would you say is leading the charge with AI at work? The answer? Well, it might not be the one you're thinking of.
And here it is. It's actually millennials, not Gen Z, who are slightly out in front when it comes to using AI on the job. Now, yeah, the trend is definitely youth-driven, but look at that. There's real adoption across the board. But just looking at who's using it is only half the story. The really juicy part is why they're using it.
And this, right here, shows the split perfectly. For Gen Z, AI is fundamentally a learning tool. They're weaving it right into the fabric of their education. But for millennials and Gen X, they're plugging it into careers that are already underway, trying to get that professional edge. You've got two generations coming at AI from two totally different directions.
Okay, so let's take that idea and jump into the workplace, because this generational split is kicking off this fascinating employee-led movement. Turns out, the AI revolution isn't being rolled out from the C-suite, it's bubbling up from below.
You see, there's this massive gap opening up. You've got individual employees playing around with generative AI, all these amazing tools that write text, create images, you name it. But their employers, a staggering 3/4 of businesses, are seen by their own people as being totally behind the curve. It's like employees are in a race car and their companies are just stuck in traffic. So yeah, this is basically a grassroots movement happening in the shadows. People are quietly making themselves more productive, making their jobs easier, and half the time their bosses have absolutely no idea. This isn't just about a new piece of tech. It's a huge shift in how work gets done. And what happens when companies try to put their foot down and ban it? Well, it completely backfires. The data shows that banning AI doesn't work. In fact, usage is even higher in places with a ban. It just pushes everything underground. Employees aren't asking for rules to stop them. They're looking for guidance, and yet only about a third have gotten any real training at all. Now, let's zoom the camera out. Because this whole bottom-up grassroots adoption thing, it's not just happening inside companies. It's happening on a global scale. And it's completely flipping the old map of tech leadership on its head. For literally decades, the assumption was that new tech starts in North America or Europe and spreads out from there. But AI is different. Developing economies are just leaping ahead. Look at India, a stunning 59% adoption rate, blowing past North America. We're seeing a brand new set of AI leaders emerge, and they are not where you'd expect. So why is this happening? It really boils down to demographics and attitude. Nations with younger populations, people who grew up with a smartphone in their hand, they don't see AI as a threat. They see it as a massive opportunity. They are actively and enthusiastically teaching themselves how to use it, and that's creating this incredible engine for adoption. And a huge piece of this puzzle is just pure optimism. In China, 83% of people think AI will do more good than harm. But in the US and Canada, that number is less than half. This optimism gap is a massive predictor of which countries are really going to go all in on an AI future.
But, it's not all sunshine and roses. The real picture is this complex mix of excitement, sure, but also some very real concerns and anxieties. So let's look at the full spectrum of how people are feeling about AI.
This right here captures the two sides of the coin perfectly. On one hand, you've got people in developing countries who are twice as excited about AI, and users are saving almost a full workday every week. That's huge. But on the flip side, a massive majority are worried about their data. And look at Gen Z. For them, AI isn't just a homework helper. They see it as a potential lifeline against overwhelming financial anxiety. It's a technology of both hope and fear, all at the same time.
And this quote just nails that proactive mindset that's taking hold all over the world. It reframes this adoption gap not as some kind of failure, but as an opportunity. It's an invitation to jump in, to innovate, and to claim a spot at the table for the next big thing. So you've got generations, employees, and entire countries all moving at different speeds. Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. Who is actually going to write the rules for our AI future?
And make no mistake, the stakes here could not be higher. By 2030, the global AI market is projected to be worth almost $2 trillion. We're not just talking about some cool new software here. This is about the future shape of the entire global economy.
And governments are, well, they're finally waking up and smelling the coffee. After years of moving slowly, the race to regulate and invest is officially on. Mentions of AI and legislation have just exploded. And in the last year alone, you've seen the major world powers commit tens of billions of dollars to build up their own AI ecosystems and try to put some guardrails in place.
And that's really where we have to leave it. The AI revolution isn't being handed down from on high, it's being built right now by students in their dorms, by employees running experiments their bosses don't know about, and by entire nations determined to leapfrog the old tech giants. The future of AI isn't some technical problem we need to solve, it's a global, human negotiation that is really just getting started.